I wanted to welcome you all to our monthly webinar. This is something that the Prime Capital Wellness and Prime Capital Financial team, we put on every month, trying to stay relevant with topics that you want to hear about, that you have questions about, that even some of you have suggested to us. So we thank you for that. Thank you for your participation with our past webinars, and we're looking forward to this one, I know. Smart tips for finding a financial advisor you can trust. We've had a lot of interest in this, a lot of comments from our clients that have asked about, some things that they should look out for. What are some red flags? What should we be wary of? What should we be looking forward to finding out about people that would handle our money? Some information that would leave us with a little bit more clarity, give us some more information, possibly act as more of a guide so we can feel confident about talking to someone with honestly, really probably one of the most personal things that we can talk about with someone who's maybe not in our immediate family, right? Our money, our financial future, which is really kind of, what we're doing now, what we want to do in the short term, and then our hopes and dreams for our future, not only as individuals, but for people that we want to take care of. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. Of course, here I am, John Poole. There's my email. That's my cell phone number. I'm located here locally here in Houston, Texas. Of course, our home office for Prime Capital Financial is up in Overland Park, Kansas. If you're familiar with that area, then great. You probably know where we are. And of course, we have offices all over the country with financial professionals and all of us team members. We're happy to help in any way that we can, answer any questions. And of course, we do enjoy getting here virtually and sharing our knowledge of the industry with you all, trying to help you out where we can and engage you where you are, wherever you are. And we are excited about this webinar in particular because, as I stated just a few moments ago, this is something that's really been top of mind for a lot of our clients. How to hire a financial advisor. Really about 1/3 of Americans have a financial advisor. According to a recent study by NASDAQ, NASDAQ.com, you can find the information there. It's pretty interesting. The survey really goes in depth. I'll just hit on a couple of high points. With generational interest in financial advisors, Gen Z, according to NASDAQ.com, is really more willing to seek advice. Gen Zers want that advice, want that help across all income levels. It's not just for folks that have X amount of dollars to invest or to take care of, across all income levels. So that was pretty interesting. And of course, those that identify or would be classified as baby boomers, over half of that population, over half of that generation are not willing to seek financial advice. They want to do everything on their own, maybe rely on their own life experience, what have you. So, like I said, and like many of you have expressed to us, it's a real emotional discussion around your actual life goals. So if we're looking for red and green flags, what would some of those red and green flags be when we're looking to interview and potentially hire a financial advisor? Well, we can start with some of the red flags. I think number one really on a lot of our lists would be, hey, are you really transparent? Is this person, is he or she transparent? We don't want to probably engage with someone who's dodging fee questions, because as we probably already know, that there are a lot of financial products out there that can be these high commission products. You don't want to get nickeled and dimed. You want someone to be open and honest with you. And so if you are engaging with a potential financial advisor and you want this financial advisor to put together some sort of plan for you that might entail purchasing certain financial products, whether they're insurance products in some certain sort of contract, if they are mutual funds, stocks, bonds, ETFs, or any sort of real estate investment trust type of investments. Well, what are the fees on those, and what would those look like? Are there any lower cost alternatives? You want to be sure to talk to someone, talk to a professional that says, hey, look, these are the fees, these are expenses. All of this I can put for you, Mr. and Ms. potential client. I can put this in writing for you. You can take this, you can shop around, you can get a second, third opinion. I'm okay as a professional because I feel confident in my ability and I'm open and honest with you. That, of course, seems like, well, kind of a no-brainer. No kidding, John. Well, it bears repeating that, we want somebody that's open and honest. We don't want somebody that's going to kind of maybe dodge or skirt around an issue on how they get paid, right? This industry is not the Red Cross. It is not a not-for-profit. It is a for-profit industry. There's nothing wrong with making a profit, right? Keeping the lights on and getting paid for your expertise. But a financial professional should feel confident in putting things in writing for you and saying, this is how I get paid. This is what these products would cost. These are some lower cost alternatives that we could put together in an overall plan to accomplish your goals. Now, number two is a big one, fiduciary commitment. You want to hire someone who is a financial fiduciary. That means that they are legally obligated, this individual and this individual's firm, legally obligated to do what is in your best interest 100% of the time. They might be able to say, well, I'm doing this for you. I think that this is a good idea. This is in your overall best interest. Well, a fiduciary, it's not a suggestion. It's actually a legal obligation to act in a client's best interest if this individual is in fact a fiduciary. They're going to suggest things that are in your best interest, that are suitable for you, not just a suitability standard only. As we can see here, this will work most of the time. This is probably going to be the best tool or the best solution for this. No, we don't want probably. We don't want just this looks like it may be a fit. No, we want somebody who's got a real commitment to being a fiduciary for you, meaning that their actions, their suggestions, they're going to be legally obligated and ethically obligated to act in your best interest according to your wishes. And a proper fiduciary will ask you a lot of questions. This person, he or she, will want to get to know you to best be able to offer you suggestions related to a plan, to build a plan for you, whether they're, I guess we could say constructed around what overall you want right now in the short term and in the long term. And then based on that fiduciary, that advisor's experience, they can then suggest to you the tools to get to those goals. Well, you don't want somebody that's going to overpromise and underdeliver. We've probably all heard those or that term at one point or another. No one can guarantee returns. It's just nobody has a crystal ball, unfortunately, right? And you certainly don't want an advisor with the magic 8 ball on their desk either. That would be a guess. And you don't want anybody that says absolutely this is going to happen, guaranteed in the future. Nobody can predict the market with 100% certainty. And if you're running into somebody that you're talking with as a potential advisor, if he or she is only talking about market upside, that might be an indicator that they're trying to possibly overpromise or not really give you the full picture. There are market ups and downs for those of us that have been in the industry for a while. Some days it seems like forever, right? On my end, but I've been in the industry, as younger generations would say now, I've been in the industry since the 1900s. So I've been in the industry quite a while, and we've seen these ups and downs. A couple of notable ones that we should probably all, or most of us, remember: 2008, even as recently as 2022. You'll want to talk to an advisor that will talk about market downs as well as market ups, and then give you a more realistic discussion, realistic picture, not just about beating the market, but really talking to you about what your goals are, your realistic goals, long term, maybe a little bit shorter term, and maybe for right now. And like I said earlier, an advisor that's acting in your best interest will not overpromise, will not deliver what you need, but this advisor is going to ask you probably quite a few questions about your overall goals, what your household financially looks like, and then go from there. So market ups, market downs, giving you a full picture, talking to you about everything really, and then you certainly don't want anybody that's popping up on any sort of, I guess, in a negative way on any sort of broker check, any sort of public databases, et cetera. I know that the FINRA broker check you can see here, if you want to look it up, the actual web address is brokercheck.finra, and that's spelled FINRA, of course, just like it has here in the capital letters, brokercheck.finra.org. You can enter what they call their CRD number. That's a kind of a representative, individual representative number. You can add you can look them up just by their name and their state or their city. And you can look up a firm as well without individuals, checking out a firm to see if that firm is in good standing. Now, an advisor that's been in the industry for a while, that's really kind of, let's call it a student of the game, someone that takes their career very, very seriously, will have industry designations such as CFP, CFA, CPFA, et cetera, AIF, or they might talk about ongoing or continuing education, things of that nature. If an advisor that you're interviewing as your potential advisor does not have these designations, does not talk about, really, continuing their education, keeping on top of industry trends, that could be a real indicator that, hey, you know what, maybe this person isn't as serious or isn't as professional as I thought. Maybe I want to take a step back. And if they can't say, hey, you know what, I appreciate your questioning my background. Here's a list of similar clients that I've helped. Here's a couple of similar situations that I've encountered that are close to what you have going on. And I think you'd want to maybe read this case study that I have, or here's a list of references. Of course, with anything, if you're anything like me, maybe you've had a car that you've wanted worked on, and you'll ask people that you trust, hey, who do you recommend as a mechanic, or who do you recommend as a dry cleaner or a CPA? Who does your taxes? Well, you know what? Again, your financial future and the people that you want to take care of, whether that's just yourself or your family or any sort of business, you really want to look for credible references, examples of credible type of people, and look for these industry designations. Now, also, you probably want to be wary of people that are going to push you, make you feel uncomfortable. Do it now. Do this today. Let's go ahead and get this done. Hey, I know you said you and your spouse make all these financial decisions together, and your spouse, he or she, isn't going to be home until later, or maybe they're out of town. That's okay. Let's go ahead and get this started right now, and we'll deal with them later. No, be wary of that. That's a big red flag. You don't want to feel rushed. You don't want to feel, bullied. Maybe might be a little bit of a strong word, but you're dealing with your financial future and your family's financial future in many cases. You don't want to feel like you're being pushed or pulled, or maybe even intimidated. It can be a confusing process. You don't want to have somebody in front of you sitting in their office or talking to them on the phone. You want to feel that they're taking their time with you. They want to ask you questions. They want to have everybody involved in that decision-making process that you feel comfortable with. You want to make that situation as comfortable as possible for you. And if they're not making you feel that way, or if they only talk about what other assets that you have that they can kind of gather together so that they might have all of the control over your assets immediately, that's throwing up a big red flag. You can't expect anybody to know all about you and to know about your goals and your hopes for the future. You know what you're planning to do. If you're planning to dream about, hey, you know, I want to do this in 5 years. I want to plan for 30 years down the road in retirement. I've got some other outside assets, and my spouse would love to be here during this conversation. If they're pushing you to do something now, well, that really doesn't make much sense. So be wary of those high pressure tactics as well. Now, it all really revolves around communication, right? If they're throwing out a lot of industry jargon, I would say that, you know what, unless you're looking at investments as a hobby and you're familiar immediately with a lot of financial services industry jargon, it can be confusing. If they're not speaking your language, that's not good communication. If they're always or sometimes or often dodging a question or trying to give you a sense that they're skirting around a subject, that's probably not communication that you feel comfortable with. Again, we're dealing with you know, your hard work and the fruits of that labor, all of this money that you've accumulated and that you will accumulate, things that you want to do and people that you want to take care of. So if these strategies or these questions aren't being answered to your liking, to where you can understand it, that's not a good thing. I'll use an example. I have a 13-year-old son. I feel, and many financial professionals feel the same way, I feel that if I can't explain a financial concept that I deal with day to day, whatever that concept is, if I can't explain it to my 13-year-old son where he can feel comfortable in understanding it and then explain it back to me, then I probably am not knowledgeable about that topic. So if a potential financial advisor, if he or she cannot explain to you in plain language, and I'm not talking about, oh, quote unquote, dumbing it down or explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. No, we don't have to talk about it that way. We can just say that whatever industry you're in, whatever your education level is, and also if you are a non-native English speaker and you're looking for a financial advisor that maybe speaks your native language, that's okay. Seek one of those out. There are tens of thousands of financial advisors that are capable and licensed and have professional designations that can help you out. Find someone that's going to fit your particular situation and that you feel comfortable in. And then also that can make you feel like, you know what, I've gained some knowledge talking from this person, not just about my goals and my dreams, but about the industry as a whole. Someone that's going to leave you with a good feeling about, you know what, I really feel that I've gained some sort of education, financial education, just from talking with this professional. Now I feel more comfortable. And this financial professional should also feel good about saying, hey, potential Mr. and Ms. client or family of clients, you know what? It's not going to be kind of a one-stop communication here. What I want to do is I want to not only develop a financial plan for you, but I'm going to have scheduled communication with you that I'll reach out to you twice a year, 3 times a year, quarterly, whatever it is. Not only can you contact me, Mr. and Ms. Client or family of clients, but I will reach out to you on this schedule. I'm going to give you updates. I have a newsletter that I can email out to you, or like our team here at Prime Capital Financial, we have monthly webinars and they're going to fall on the the last Wednesday of the month, and we're going to email blast out to you and let you know how you can join us, like you all have today, by the way. So thank you for that. But it's never a one size fits all. And this is kind of a favorite phrase of mine, especially when I'm talking to clients of ours that want to talk to me about their 401k, for example. I love talking about 401k stuff, and I won't talk about that today in the interest of time, but I'll show you ways to get a hold of every member of my team here in a few moments if you do want to talk about things 401k related or not. But I'll talk to people, hey, a 401k, for example, is never a one size fits all. But you know what? Talking about financial planning and financial advice and wellness as a whole, oh, that's never a one size fits all. My family is different than your family. I'm different than even team members of mine. We're all individuals here. So when you're talking to a financial advisor, wouldn't it make sense to have a financial advisor, potential financial advisor, that is going to recommend something to you that's individualized? Well, of course, you know, and to do that, this person is going to need to ask you those detailed questions. They'll want to talk to you about how you feel about risk, what your dreams are for the future, what your goals are, short term and long term, et cetera. And it's going to be a conversation. The best financial advisors are going to make it into a longer conversation to try to dig deep and find out what's going to be best for you. Now, some great things. So I don't want to be Debbie Downer for the whole presentation, right? We're gonna go towards, you know, some great things to look for, right? Somebody that's going to put your interests first, that is going to act in that fiduciary capacity as a professional. Mr. and Ms. Client, I'm gonna look for what's best for you at all times. Here are my fees. Here's how I am paid as a potential financial advisor for you. Here's how I get paid. Again, this is, you know, a for-profit entity, and here's how that profit happens, and here's how it makes sense at all times. And you know what? I've had experience with clients like you, whether it's a client like you that's talking about retiring in 3 years, or a client like you that's a business owner and has possibly inherited some money as well and has a few different moving pieces. Whatever your situation is, I probably have had, as a financial advisor with X amount of years experience, Mr. and Ms. Klein, I can show you where my experience can fit with your experience now, and we can probably have this partnership and it's going to be successful, right? And my communication with you is going to be clear. It's going to be easily understandable. You know what, by the way, I've got some other tools that we can use if you want to gain some more knowledge about finances in general. Well, heck, I've got a newsletter that goes out, or my team has webinars, or you know what, I think that there's a seminar that I'm going to be putting on in 3 months that I think you'd be particularly interested in. Here's what it's about. And you know what, we're going to do an overall plan, not just stocks and mutual funds that I think that would generate a commission for me and that I could make a boat payment. That would be fantastic. No. Our comprehensive plan for you is going to help you accomplish this in the short term, this in that midterm, 5-10 years down the road. And you know what? I know that you mentioned retirement to me, and we're going to be able to utilize this portion of your plan that's ongoing, and we're going to be able to get you and your family and your loved ones, people that you care about, we're going to get you to that dignified retirement to where you feel that there's some value with this. You're going to be confident, and you're going to have the right information to continue on with the plan and make those great decisions. So that's what we should be looking for, right? And so, you know, if you could look for some really good questions to ask, you know, these, you know, if you got a pen and paper, pencil and paper, or you know, if you're going analog like I do, or if you're in front of your computer, maybe you want to jot these down. I think that these are some questions that you would want to ask going forward. If you're interested in hiring that advisor that's going to be the best fit, are you a fiduciary? How are you paid? How are you compensated? How do you get paid on this? Getting paid, hey, nothing wrong with that. We all like to get paid, right? But you want to know how they get paid. So there's some transparency there. And hey, you know what? Do you have anything else that's included in your services beyond just managing my money? Well, what other things do you do? What other things are included? And you know what? I am interested in who else you've helped. Who else have you worked with that's it, that's been in my similar situation. Do you have references? Because I'm going to look you up, right? Don't forget brokercheck.finra.org is a great way to look up individuals as well as firms. Check them out. This is important. It's your money. It's your financial future. You want these questions answered. And then, hey, you know what? I like ongoing communication. Or, you know what? If we touch base with each other twice a year, that's great with me. Or if you're more hands-on, hey, you know what? What sort of communication do you have? Do you have anything monthly that goes out? Are we going to speak quarterly? I need something more than once a year because I want to keep tabs on if we're progressing according to that plan that you develop. Now, I know it's been a lot of information. We haven't gone quite for the 30 minutes yet, but I do want to provide you with some resources on our side, on the Prime Capital Financial side, that you can reach out to us as well. I want to give you all of the contact information for our team if you ever have any questions. But we do need to remember, you know, let's look for stuff that's tailored to our goals. We know that, you know, everybody's an individual, not just some generic solution. Please don't go on the internet and just go to the, you know, kind of just some sort of generic type of thing that you should be doing, because more than likely you're going to have certain individual goals, whether they're short, medium, long term, that are going to be different than anybody else. So you want to get that individualized help. You want to have some real value. You want to look for value, whether that's with, you know, getting something that's more cost effective. Maybe you're going to encounter some questions that you have about, hey, should I pay taxes now on things? Should I defer taxes? What's going to be the most efficient way to accomplish my goal in relation to taxes? By the way, irs.gov is a fantastic website that we all pay for. If you haven't been to it, you're paying for it. So you might as well go to irs.gov if you have some tax questions as well. But we want to take into account also, you know, feeling just confident overall about our plan. Who doesn't get nervous about money? Whether it's month to month or quarter to quarter, if we're looking at maybe our quarterly 401k or retirement plan statement, or just overall confidence with how we're progressing with our finances. You want to have confidence in the plan. You want to have that confidence in anyone that's helping you out, because there are things that are going to happen in our lives. You know, if you get married, congrats. You know, children added to a family, maybe you're growing. That's great too. You know, these are big life changes. Hey, maybe you've you know, unfortunately encountered or you know, unfortunately had someone pass in your family. Those are some life changes as well. Paying for college, planning for retirement, maybe starting a business, or on the back end, maybe you're looking to sell a business that you've built up and then using those proceeds to retire. There are a lot of different life transitions that a qualified, diligent financial professional, financial advisor can help you with. And let's remember, you know, this is one of those situations where you may feel that you get what you pay for. Sometimes cheapest isn't always best. You know, you want to go with somebody that you feel comfortable with on all different levels. And as long as they're transparent and forthcoming with you about how they get paid, as long as you're seeing some real value and confidence and comfort with it, you can move ahead. So we do have this ongoing series, like I mentioned a couple of times. So we've got one coming up in September, October, November. We'll have one in December as well. But these next three, I know that we can all read the topics here. If you want to scan those QR codes to either register for the next one, that's going to be that last week of September, talking about HSA, those health savings accounts. Very, very interesting topic. I think you're going to want to, I think you're really going to want to click in and register for that one. I know I'll be on it. It's going to be great. So you can register for that next one. But, you know, we've been doing these for years now, and we actually have a YouTube channel, believe it or not. Probably the most popular YouTube channel out there. You know, based on a recent survey of me and my coworkers. So you can scan that lower QR code there. That's the only joke you get, by the way. It's kind of dry stuff. But you can scan that lower QR code there, that one on the bottom, to look at the other prior recordings. There are a whole lot of topics that you may have had questions about, want to kind of hear 20, 30 minutes of information on. So feel free to access that as well. And our team here, we have Heath Hagen, Kenji Noguchi, Josh Zeb, me, of course, Sean Poole, Nash Holm. We're all over the country, right? So no matter what part of the country you're in, you have somebody near you, but it doesn't matter because now we are in 2025. Of course, all of the email and cell phone numbers that you need to get a hold of us. You know that you can also get a live look at our calendars to schedule a free virtual one-on-one discussion with us. 15, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes if it's a quick question. Scan that QR code to schedule a one-on-one with us. We are all very willing, happy, able, with our multitude, many years of experience, all of us, to help you out. If we don't know the answer to a question, we're more than happy to put our heads together, research it, and then get back to you with that 100% answer. So we're happy to help out with that. But listen, I just want to thank all of you that have joined today. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. We had a great crowd today, a great group of people, and we appreciate you all. Don't forget, if there's any questions that you have about this topic, what should I be asking or looking for when I'm hiring a financial advisor? There's a lot of people that need that financial help, and you have a lot of professionals out there that are more than qualified to help out. How do you do it? If you want to discuss it further, what it means to you, drill down more on the topic. All 5 of us, any of us, are more than willing to help you out. So please take a quick pic of this slide, take a quick screenshot, if you will, and get a hold of us. If you can't get a hold of me, Nash, Josh, Heath, Kenji, we're all qualified to help out. We're happy to do it. And again, thank you all for joining today. Don't forget about the webinar. Let me click back to it real quick. Don't forget about the one on September 24 on the HSA. It's going to be really interesting. And then, of course, moving forward with October, November, and of course, we'll wrap the year up in December. And we're here for you. Let us know how we can help. And again, thank you all, everyone. We look forward to talking with you very soon. Bye-bye.